Donnie B got to be.
Good day, everybody. It's Donnie B got the beats. We live for the next episode of season 6's The Beat. Look, I don't even need to get to the glorious intro. We didn't have this brother on 2 episodes ago, and I felt it incumbent that we bring him back because his wealth of knowledge and experience is so critical and it's so crazy that we just gonna bypass everything. We're gonna get straight to bringing this brother back. I'm so elated to have him. So excited. TJ Loftin. Look, I can't even. I had to pull up the credentials right just so we can get it right. Award-winning international speaker, best-selling author, land developer, real estate business coach, celebrity car builder, and economic futurist. Did I say that right?
Yes,
economic futurist.
Oh yeah,
my man. TJ Loftin, what's good with you, brother?
Oh man, it's all good, brother. I appreciate the opportunity you bringing me back again, man. It's an honor.
Of course, brother. You welcome at any time, bro. And you are what I've come to learn is griot, and you're a brother that just have the knowledge. You hold the keys to the kingdom when it comes to knowledge. And anytime you want to come, anything you got something new that you want to get out to the people, you are more than welcome to come through, brother. Seriously.
Yeah, greatly appreciate it, fam.
No doubt.
Greatly appreciate it.
No doubt. So we will get straight to this thing because you already know what time it is. And I know your time is money, almost literally, if not literally.
Time is money.
Exactly. First things first, for those that don't know who TJ Loftin is, just to give them a rundown real quick of who TJ Loftin is.
As of today, I'm now adding to my list of names that I've been called over the year, a griot.
Hey.
Retired celebrity car builder, still advocate to the industry, consultant, coach, real estate guru. They call me the economic futurist. I'm big on business and seeing where we're going in direction in the future, how long stuff is going to take to get where, how do we monetize things. Traveler, speaker, teacher, everything, brother. Teacher of my people, Just
hence the word griot.
Griot.
We need more people like you.
Gratitude.
Out the world.
Send them to me. I'll train them.
Things you want to hear. You know what I mean? For people like me. Things you want to hear. I'm glad that you said that flat out. Growing up let everybody know where you're from, what it was like for you to grow up there, and how did you make it out to become the success that you are today?
He said, make it out. That part. I grew up in the world famous Compton, California. It was an amazing opportunity designed to build soldiers, designed to build leaders, all that we went through was molding us and sculpting us, things that I went through back then makes life easy for me right now. So it's new to it was like, oh, this is old. I know what to do. That comes from growing up in Compton, on the battleground, the battlefield, creating a lot of generals and captains and leaders, Okay, yeah. Did I get out other than throwing the rope up?
Hey, look,
enough, they felt that I made it like, yeah, brother, you can go on and get out. We need you to represent us. Let them know who you are, where you come from. They literally pushed me up, held me out, and pushed me out the hole. You know what I'm saying? Say, okay, now you go let them know who we are. Got it. That's my assignment. I'm letting everybody know there's some amazing people come out of Compton, but they don't want you to know that. And I'm one of them.
Well, what's interesting is that everybody looks west, and everybody looks to you can't look west and not see Compton. I'm trying to tell you, like it's you see what time it is, right? People look west to Compton 100% for sure. Now we talked in a great deal the last episode that you were on 2 episodes ago about your importance to hip hop culture. We talked about who you are as a person and how you got built up to become the person that you are today. I definitely didn't want to hinge on that because you have a whole other arm that I felt that was very important, and it's important for us people of color overall. And I wanted that to have its time and its own precedent set.
Absolutely.
So I want to make this pivot right here. Let's take it back as TJ Loftin, the author. So I want to ask, how did you get started as an author, TJ?
I started off the long story or a short story? I give you the long story.
I got space and opportunity, brother. Let's go.
I remember going through a divorce, and it was a real bad situation in my life. And I kind of like started hanging out with some older people. I went to these monthly meetings, weekly meetings, and I met some old people, and the lady told me they wanted to enroll me in this thing called Toastmasters. And I'm like, well, I don't drink, So, so they put me in, bought me a membership because she knew I wasn't going to buy it, So she bought it for me. And next thing you know, I ended up learning how to speak. And then all of a sudden, they invited me to these author classes, like book writers clubs. Like, what do I need to go to some book writer club and hang out with a bunch of old women folk? That just ain't for me. And next thing you know, my schedule just got rerouted. Like, oh, you got time now. The universe, like, hey, okay, I'm gonna make some time for you. So I grew people who saw into me what I needed to be doing. So I remember Dr. Sebi told me I need to travel around the country, see what else is going on. So I decided to do that, and I started I was going to do about 15 states to see what Dr. Sebi was talking about. So I traveled the country, checking out real estate, checking out entrepreneurship, seeing what was going on in our community, what was happening with the real estate. And I was sending pictures. People were like, why are you in Philadelphia? Why are you in New York? Why are you in, So I'm just sending all these pictures home. Like, you ain't never going to believe this. Wow, this is crazy. I can't believe they did this real estate wise. Gentrification, they killing these people out here. And everybody, send me a picture. Send me a video of that. And then next thing you know, they like, man, you need to write a book about all this, because I would go out of town and be like, I'm finna buy some houses over here. And they'd be like, you crazy. This is the hood over here. What's wrong with you? And I'd be like, man, y'all got a brand new movie studio opening up in this Tyler Perry's, and the houses across the street is worth $20,000. Are you kidding me? So I found myself explaining myself to a bunch of people who didn't know nothing about real estate.
Right.
Because I'm a seasoned investor, meaning I got history with this. I've been around, and I just couldn't understand, why don't my people understand that y'all supposed to be buying this stuff? You ain't supposed to be selling nothing right now. But then I realized everybody didn't learn real estate like me, and they don't know real estate like my friends know it. So right. I realized I came from an exceptional situation. So I said, let me write these books. When I first started, it wasn't really that serious. It was just like, let me throw something together to get these people off my back so they could see this book. Then how serious it was, it's like the first half of the book became more intense. Then the second half of the book became more intense. It was like two different people writing it. You know what I mean? Because like I realized the value in this information. I'm like, well, if they don't know this, they need to know all of this too. And then I just got real serious. And then it got so serious that I felt like, I remember my editor, she just took it from me. She got mad because we were supposed to be going like 90, 110 pages. And then all of a sudden it got serious, and I was trying to go to 200-300 pages. So she took it from me and she's like, look, you just start working on the second book. I'm like, what? But the first one ain't complete yet. It's like laws is just dropping every day. Every day a new law drops, and I feel like we needed to apply this into the book. She said this book would be a never-ending book if I don't take it from you. So she took it, and she added it. Next thing you know, that was part one. I kept going writing, and here goes part two. You know, I got a part three, but I'm gonna change the name of it because some people can't get past the title. You know, so that's what opened the door for me to write my book, and I became a best-selling author with it. It just really blew my mind of how many people want the book. You know, they say black people don't read books. Why are you writing a book? And it's like, whew, don't tell that to my sales department. You know, my hand hurting, brother, because I'm signing and people reading, and then they reading the books because I got people calling me out on chapters like, I want to talk about what's going on in chapter 9 when you said this, and they want to see if I know what we're talking about. And I'm like, well, I don't know what's in chapter 9, but give me a little about it. Then they say, well, yeah, you said something about yeah, that's what they be doing. And then they be like, oh, wow, well, that's not in the book, but that's more.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I wrote my book. I know all about that stuff. I wrote that, But yeah, it's just people got questions, man. People got problems and concerns. So that book has helped a lot of people, and it's helped me. It's just interesting how writing a book changed my life. It's like they didn't want me coming in. It's like, oh, you're author? Oh yeah, come on in. come on, talk to us about you. Come on. Really? Like the book opened the door for me. Okay. Like now I'm more respected. I didn't go to college and get a degree, but since I wrote that book, I'm more respected now. How about that? So that tripped me out. So the book is working out to be like a master's degree, hypothetically speaking. People respect books. Go figure.
In the industry, they said that it's time and field, right? Like in most industries, they said it's time and field. Like that's cool. You graduated, you got a degree, but if you have time and field, you can't replace time and field. Like that's
right. One of my system is, these HBCUs. I'm in Georgia. There's 4 big HBCUs out here, and they have not yet invited me to come speak. So I feel like once we learn to recognize entrepreneurship, and they'll recognize entrepreneurship as the value of generational wealth creating our communities. And once they recognize that, then they'll recognize me as one of the greatest ever did it. You know what I mean? And how they opt in front of it. So I asked people, I posed a question to some people the other day. I said, the problem is because they don't recognize entrepreneurship as a solution, they think jobs are the solution, degrees are the solution, then what we fail to overstand is it was the person like me who's done a whole lot of stuff, who's seen things that nobody's seen and nobody's talked about, and decided to write a book, and then took that book and created HBCUs and said this is going to be the curriculum because TJ's a master scholar. All of a sudden, someone weaponized it against us, so it turned into, well, TJ don't have a degree now. He can't come into the school, and he can't come into the school because he doesn't have a degree. But yet, I'm the person that wrote the book. You know what I'm saying? That you guys are learning, hypothetically speaking. It's people like me that write the books for others to read, to go out and create wealth for them. So why is it that we having a hard time with me getting? Why don't colleges have people scouting for me? You know what I'm saying? Looking for people like me to come in. But again, these HBCUs make up less than 3% of the entrepreneurships in America, in the African American community. They make up less than 3%. So they're not looking for me. Basically.
Let me ask you this question, TJ, because I'm glad that you brought that up. Me myself being a product of a HBCU, one of the most prestigious ones involved. No, it's cool. No, it's cool. I'm secure in my HBCU-ness. I'm secure in my manhood, my blackhood, everything. But I'm glad this is a great conversation. Would you say that HBCUs, and really, if you raise the veil on it, all collegiate activities or the industry of colleges and universities, they prepare you to be a worker, not a leader.
Yes. They to me, honestly, no offense to anyone. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just saying this is something we got to pick. So me as an entrepreneur, I like to use as employee training camp. You know, if I get me some a good employee, but that's not no one I will leave business, if that makes sense. You know, I can count on my HBCUs to produce me somebody that very good at Excel, that's very good at writing me up a proposal, you know, all of those type of things. Secretary is no offense. But as far as, hey, I need you to come take a chain of restaurants, I need you to come over here and run my multi-billion-dollar lowrider shop and my custom car paint shop. No. That's a whole different. You have to be able to talk to people. You have to respect people. You know, one thing I notice about our schools is a person graduating from a college only needs themselves and their fraternity brothers. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's like their family. They don't care about too many other people, technically. But an entrepreneur coming home, he has to be friends with everybody. Eat. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is a potential customer. So I have to be humble to the gardener. I have to be humble to the crossing walk guard. I have to be humble to everybody that crosses my path, because we need them to know that we are entrepreneurs and we can sell you products for whatever it is that you need. Come to us for this. But when you know you got a job, I work for Google. I ain't worried about nobody else, except for my brothers and my sisters. You know, that's literally what I've been seeing over the years, and that needs to be fixed.
I'm glad that you say that, and it's interesting because again, I didn't take any offense by it. You know what I mean? Like being burned from the U that counts. Sorry, Howard University folk, whatever. Anyway, being from Hampton University and being from an HBCU, it's just one of those things as to where it's like, well, you know, I was taught like everybody else, and I was taught to, you know, learn how to adapt, adjust, so forth and so on. But lead is something different, because to lead is to take imagination, to have to emancipate yourself and to step away, take everything, unlearn everything you've learned, and learn how to weaponize it, using your verbiage as far as weaponization. And that I've always clung to that. My father taught me that. I think it's very interesting what you say, and I definitely think it's way more than interesting in what you know how you're putting rubber. You are literally the rubber that meets the road, and you're really churning things out at a high clip. You know what I mean? And there's just people, the Wachowski brothers or sisters or whatever they are, that like sorry to be I might be come across as tone deaf me saying that, but I'm not trying to be. But you know, like the Wachowskis created the Matrix. They didn't go to you know a college.
They stole that. They stole that.
They stole it, but you know what I mean.
Sophia, right? They didn't make that. They copied and pasted that.
Okay, James Cameron was no, sorry, John Carpenter. John Carpenter, film director too. Another one, didn't go to college. Truck driver. You know what I mean? To me, and I'm again, that's not putting you in the same space as them. Obviously, your pedigree is astounding, right? But I'm just saying all of this to say is that to have imagination and to be a forward thinker, to disconnect yourself from the masses is something in itself, right? And I feel that is credible. And then you take somebody such as yourself that has already been disconnected and see things for the way they are, and like you said, you put it out there for people to churn and read through and educate themselves. It's not about whether or not you would go to college or not. It's what have you done? Not lately,
right there.
Past, but what have you done? Like, and I tell people all the time, you know, I meet people as because like a lot of people Some people say Donnie B got the beats. They like my guest last night on the beat. He was just like, Donnie B got the beats. I was like, yeah, you know, I'm actually a music producer. He was like, oh, I just thought that was your stage name. No, I actually am a credible music producer. You can Google me. You can find me.
Right.
I tell people all the time, look at my work.
Right.
That'll tell you whether or not you want to work with me in the future or not. You know what I mean? So I love the fact that you stand on everything that you built, because you built a hell of a paradigm. Like your whole thing is expansive. Like I said, just researching you, trying to understand what you're trying to do. And it's funny to hear you say that you're still getting the second guessed and doubted and so forth and so on, with all of the accomplishments that you've laid out. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's crazy.
Right. One thing I have come to accept and understand, that if I'm ever put up against a situation where, hey, they want me to come be a keynote speaker, I'm in the top 2 of people who are going to be decided to be a keynote speaker at whatever conference. If it's given by someone with a college degree, and the person that I'm competing against, they're going to get the college degree if they got one. They're going to get that speaking engagement.
Right.
Because a college-minded person feels that a college person is way smarter than a person who had not been to college, because of the deception that they've been taught.
Right.
You know, they don't know about, they wasn't taught about Dr. Sebi curing all diseases, because he didn't go to college. But if he did, boy, they'd be backing him 100%. But because he did not, they choose not to even bring it up. You know what I'm saying? He never went to college. He never studied medicine in a college or any place like that. But yet, that's the baddest doctor on the planet, no bigger than any of the biggest doctors on the planet. Dr. Sebi is the biggest doctor that ever lived that we know of in our lifetime. But yet, they never gave him credit for it. You know, we supposed to have wrapped around him and bought him to teach these young people. You know, so I already know, whenever put up against anybody, a college graduate is going to get that speaking engagement, because that's the loyalty that lies within. Therefore, not giving the crowd, the community, the knowledge needed to go out and fix these problems with gentrification, fix these problems when dealing with corporate expansion and bulldozing Black communities. They'd rather just give it to a Black real estate agent that went to their school, versus the person who didn't travel 25 states researching, got it all mapped out, land developer, guru. You know, we're going to give it to the person that we can relate to.
Right.
You know, and that's why we're in the situation we're in now. You know, because some people have been taught, I always tell people, as a people, we have been taught that if it didn't come from the person called doctor, lawyer, pastor, bishop, if it didn't come from anybody with those titles, don't listen to them, because they don't know what they're talking about. And that is the reason why we're in this position right now, because those people are not the ones that are fixing stuff. Those are not the ones that are creating things. Those are not the people that historically have been saving our communities, you know?
And I do know. And here's the thing that I like, and I apologize, because I feel like I'm going off script about a lot of this. And I feel this incoming because this is a dialogue and it's necessary, right? But I think that, like, with scenarios and situations such as this, to me, it almost feels encapsulating. Like, they don't want you, they being the people in the collegiate industry, or, you know, they don't want you to big up them because you didn't get a degree. So that almost undervalues or devalues that franchise, right? So that's like somebody being the greatest basketball player to ever live. They don't want them to come to talk or be a part of any NBA stuff, because at the end of the day, well, you didn't come to the NBA, so whatever, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's like one versus NBA to me. Like, and you know, that's something different. But it's interesting. It is very interesting, and I'm if not a full-fledged, I'm definitely borderline conspiracy theorist with a lot of things such as this. And I love the challenge of what we come to know and believe, and what is actual fact. It's like, and they say, you know, the truth hides in plain sight.
Well, it's like entrepreneurship. Me, I'm a businessman, so let's say, for example, let me give you something. If like in the lowrider shop,
Okay.
if I make my money because everybody know, hypothetically speaking, that my cars jump the highest. So all of a sudden, if this new guy comes in, his car jumps higher than mine, I already know, hands down, no questions asked. The customers at my place, customers that were interested in me, will all of a sudden be interested in him,
Right.
because he jumped higher than the guru.
Right.
So he is the next best thing. They're going to go with him. So it represents the same exact thing, as in, if I go into a college situation and I'm a lot smarter and I woo the whole crowd more than the next person, people may not. They find out that TJ didn't go to college. They're gonna be like, oh well, I just need to go learn from him. And it's business. That's what this is. Now
It is.
that school's gonna lose out on 100,000+. It's business. So that's what we have to look at. This is all about business. It's not about education. It is about business.
Yes.
Business first, then comes education. You know what I'm saying? So they will tell you a college student will sit in the dark until a college student creates a light bulb, hypothetically.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? Because if a college student did not create that light bulb, they cannot see no one else take credit for creating light and pull a college graduate out of the dark. That just ain't gonna work. They're gonna lose business if that's the case. I've sit on panel discussions at Black College Expos and I heard them say things like, stay off of YouTube. That stuff don't work. You go to school and get a real education. And at that point, everybody on the panel, everybody in the audience knew that I was the brightest person on that panel discussion, and I led that panel. And then I turned around, 2 or 3 speakers later, raised my hand politely, didn't cut the lady off when she made that crazy comment. And I said, well, hey, I by the way, I just wanted y'all to know that I graduated from University of YouTube, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see my Letterman jacket,
Right.
Whole room fell into tears. It was just like, and the lady had to come back and apologize for making that statement. It's like, see, we can't keep making statements like that, telling people like things. I said, YouTube does work because I put stuff on there. You know what I'm saying? I post my videos on there to educate people who are looking for knowledge, who want to take things differently, and we have to stop deceiving our people so that we can help somebody who don't help give back. You know what I mean? I've only heard of colleges needing money. I've never heard of them giving money. College always, we got to help the colleges, help them. They need more money. But I've never seen where HBCU came in and bailed out the families of Hurricane Katrina. I don't know. Help me out with that. I've seen where they came in and helped the Ukrainians. I'm like, whoa, they ain't never helped us, but they helping the Ukrainians. That really blew me away. But it said a lot. It confirmed the things that I be speaking about, that this is a business and we don't own that business. That's why you don't hear people talking about who owns that college. Who's behind the money at that college? Who really runs it? Who's putting that curriculum in there? It ain't us, and I didn't come on here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about solutions. What is the cause of the problem and how do we fix it? But that is one of the biggest problems in our community that we face. We have to be loyal to our brothers and sisters that look like us, no matter where they graduated from, what race, what blood, Crip, Christian, Hebrew Israelite, Moor, or Jehovah's Witness. We got to work together because the police don't play that game like you black. Get on the ground. They don't be like, oh, wait a minute, you went to Howard. Sorry about that. Get on up, brother. They don't do that.
Exactly.
Man, we better work together, brother. That's all I can say. And that's how when I was fighting to stop gentrification in Leimert Park, they looked at me crazy, like, how you over there helping the Hebrews and the Christians and all them other people? You ain't none of them. I'm like, last time I looked, they all look like me though. They dress a little different. They do wear them funny clothes, but they look like me. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that we work together. And that's how I was the first person that ever merged them and united them in 28 years. It ain't never happened before me. So it's like, why? because I don't play the clicks. I play solutions. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't a solution, I don't even want to talk about it.
Word.
His religion is deeper than my religion, and he's a Democrat, and we Republicans. You know they Republicans. I don't know nothing about all that. All I know is that we got bills to pay, right? Whoever got bills to pay, y'all come with me. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it, and it's refreshing to hear because people get caught up in a rat race,
Yeah.
and it's like, for what? And what are we getting out of it? You know what I mean? And that's a whole other conversation for another time. Maybe I invite you back for a third, like, round table or something like that. We can talk about, just spitball stuff off the cuff. But I have my own sense of and thoughts about things like that I'm sure would ruffle a lot of feathers publicly. But I mean, to me, it is what it is because history has proven it. You know what I mean? And it's not even about what my thought is. It's just this is historical fact. So that is what that is. But like you said, we are here to celebrate you. So we want to get back to your book. So I want to ask you, based off of something that you just said, I want to jump forward into the conversation. And I want to ask you, coming from the guru here, just what is monetizing gentrification?
Monetizing gentrification is, we hear about gentrification. We know it's a terrible thing, and we know it's coming for us. But I always believe in, we're going to have to monetize this. How can we monetize this? What's the best way for us to come in there and monetize this? Because they making some money, or they wouldn't be coming in here building these expensive homes. They wouldn't be coming gentrifying the Black community to build big, giant, high-rise buildings. So how do we tap into that? So monetizing gentrification is us tapping into the gentrification and making money to come back and build our own community. So what does that look like? That looks like, okay, everybody needs needs labor. You know what I'm saying? What's the base of construction? Labor. You can't do nothing without labor. Okay, well, how do we tap into this labor thing? How much does this labor pay? Oh, well, we can start businesses in the labor. Go on YouTube, learn how to hang ceiling fans, learn how to frame a wall, learn how to lay concrete. All of that's on YouTube. Start a business, get a license. All of a sudden, y'all pay me to come in here and develop my city. Y'all, matter of fact, we're going to pass laws and put a 70% minority participation on the books. So when you come into this city, into Compton, Atlanta, to gentrify this area, you're going to have to hire African-American companies, 70% minorities, to come in here and build.
Rose, still there, TJ?
You there, brother?
I'm here. Here we go.
Yeah, so that we can make our fair. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, it's just okay. It froze for a second, but I got you back now.
Okay, cool.
All right. Now, I appreciate your commentary. It was a bit choppy, but for the most part, I get it. For those that don't know and want to break it down, just take a little step further back from that. Monetizing and gentrification.
Yeah,
Break it
froze
down
up,
for
brother.
I'm sorry.
You froze up. I didn't hear this whole question.
Sorry. I said monetizing, the word, by definition, gentrification, the word, by definition. For those that don't know, because I personally know some people that just, what does monetizing mean? I've heard it. I don't know what it means. You know what I mean? For you, what does monetizing mean? What does gentrification mean?
Monetizing for me means, how do I make money off of this? How do we create money in this situation? Yeah, so how do we monetize it? Gentrification is when someone comes in and sees another culture, African Americans living there, and decide that they can make large profits off of that neighborhood. So they go in and defund the schools. They go in and over police the neighborhoods. They put metal detectors in the schools. They close down the churches, etc., to push these people out. That's gentrification. They're going to convert these senior homes into kick the seniors out and turn them into high-end condos. That is called gentrification.
Now, would you say gentrification is an arm of age-old practice in business where you buy low, sell high?
No, it falls more into colonization.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Coming in, taking something that's not yours and pushing out a people, killing and murdering a people, creating homelessness to a people that normally wouldn't have had those problems had you not come. Buy low and sell high is me seeing an opportunity. Like there are a lot of vacant buildings in these areas. There are a lot of vacant lots that can be built upon. There are a lot of opportunities. So whenever you're hurting someone, you're creating gentrification. Whenever it's a difference. It's called when you're removing people and hurting them by taking it to build, come in and you say, oh, it's a lot of vacant buildings, or I waited till every to move, the leases ended, then I turned around and redone the building, raised the to redevelop city. There's no houses, no anything. That's called new construction. That's called land development. So gentrification is taking, doing it the right way. If we do it ourselves, it's called redevelopment. If there's nothing there, it's called land development. Just to sum it up.
No, thank you, and I appreciate that. And to me, I asked the question to dispel any notions of challenge.
Right.
I'm asking you, I would like for you to describe the importance of Black ownership. Why is that important here and now?
Ownership is everything because the government has decided they're going to remove ownership from us from our people, not us, but from our people by a whole. So I go to the colleges, they're not teaching ownership. You know, the colleges are spreading rumors talking about own nothing, control everything. What? I'm like, well, I'm gonna own everything and I'm gonna give y'all some leases for 1 year and let y'all.
Standing by, we lost you for a second. Okay, so here we go. TJ's back in, coming back in, ladies and gentlemen. We got you back now. There we go.
We back.
Okay. So I'm sorry, you cut out in the middle of the importance of Black ownership. I want to give you an opportunity to address it again.
Black ownership is important because the government has decided they want to remove ownership of businesses, of home ownership, owning anything. They don't want us to own anything. They want us to lease it, use it, borrow it, but not own anything. So I go to the colleges, and like I was saying earlier, they're on the conversation of own nothing but control everything. So I'd be like, okay, well, if that's what y'all want to do, I'm gonna own everything, and I'm gonna give y'all a 1 year lease, and I'm gonna let y'all control it for a year. But at the end of that year, I'm gonna kick all y'all out if y'all can't afford to pay the amount of money that I raised my lease to. You know, so we got to get past all those kind of myths. But we will not experience gentrification of people being pushed out because of higher rent if we owned it. You know, we will not be looking for jobs and dealing with all this racism if we owned everything. I always look at the people who are being harassed by the police. It's always the people who don't have any money. You know, but the people who can afford to go hire an attorney to go fight for their freedom, fight for their rights, they don't really have those kind of problems for the most part, you know? So I look at it's always the person who can't come up with the 10 grand to hire an attorney. So ownership is important, you know, because I know that my daughter, when she graduated, she had a job to come to. Most people don't. You know what I'm saying? That's important. I know that when I'm gone, my children are going to be eating because I've set it up for them too. You know what I'm saying? Because I own a business. So my children are going to be eating, my grandchildren are going to be eating off of my books. Look at Malcolm X wrote that book years ago. He wrote his own story and it's still a bestseller. and he been gone. Family still could eat off of that book, you know? So that's the same thing with me. I'm setting myself up so my family can continue to eat. And that is the point of ownership, where other people will sell it. I tell people, I look at people all the time, they come up, society is prepping us to sell everything. So I look at Jay-Z sold Rockaware. Okay, well, where's Rockaware now? They closed it down. The brother sold Fubu. Where's Fubu now? They closed that too. You know what I'm saying? Cross Colors. Where is that? They closed it. So they don't mind spending $1 billion. Like I just heard today that they offered Kanye West, Adidas offered Kanye West $1 billion, and he said no. You know what I'm saying? For the Yeezy brand. And now Kanye do Kanye no. So I'm coming back and offer him some more money. I love to use his grandchildren will be able to live the same way right now. You can't have generational wealth without having some type of ownership of a business. You know what I mean? I mean, even if it's just the house, the family house. This house has been in our family for 1,000 years, and it's been rented out for all those years. You know, we tore it down and built a bigger one, and it's been rented out still, and we still making money off of it as a family business. So that's how it's supposed to go. Whether for me, my generational wealth will be handed down in the form of books and car part products. You know what I'm saying? So educational products. My children will be selling this stuff. My children will be explaining to people about their legendary dad, the things that their dad did. So every day that I move, every move I make is in preparation for that. You know, the things that I'm setting up for them, that I'm setting up right now, is preparing it for my children and my great-great-grandchildren's children. You know, so they all be like, yeah, my great-great-granddad, he started all that. You know, and then at the same time, we have to fix it where they can't sell it. So I believe in controlling things from the grave. You know, like, oh, if they don't want it and they want to sell it, somebody else that I know that will sell it. Loftin should be on that building until the building gets knocked down by an earthquake or the end of the world, you know?
Right.
So that brand should be staying Loftin. It should stay in existence. And that's the kind of things that we got to look at instead of saying, hey, I got my $1 billion now, I'm cool. But it's like, well, what about the grandchildren? We can buy a house for $500 million and we can buy a yacht for $500 million and then be broke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People don't realize just how fast money goes, especially when you ain't working for it. You know, so we got to start paying attention.
Well, I thank you for sharing all of that. I mean, everything that you said is A, interesting, B, it's engaging, C, it's educational, and it's a necessity. Number 4, these are things that, you know, because, you know, coming from a pipeline where, you know, things weren't necessarily funneled to me in that regard. Everything that I am, I had to think outside the box, right? Because the box was what I was given upon arrival. And, you know, hey, well, you know, you go to school, you graduate from you go to college, and then you Wild West it until you make something happen, right?
Right.
And I think that is very, everything that you're saying is very, very crucial to the stabilization and the reemergence of the culture. And I say that with intent. I do want to say this though. With regard to Black ownership, because I've done my own homework over time and so forth and so on, and just how systemically the U.S. government has attacked people of color, specifically people of color in the United States, specifically, and I'll just keep it as broad as that, right? But we all know what we're talking about with the red lines and so forth and so on. How impactful is that education of understanding how to tool up from that to become more of an entrepreneurial powerhouse now? How do you feel about that now?
I feel like we go with the people that's done it already. Like if I could have trained under C.R. Patterson, the famous automaker, if I could have trained under Marcus Garvey, you know what I'm saying? I'd be worse than I am now. I'd be like really wealthy. I'd be like, but I feel like I trained under Dr. Saban. I've trained under Dr. Onion Palmer, founder of Marcus Garvey, first Marcus Garvey school. Baddest #1 school in the nation at one time. I've trained under these great people. So now I think you can hear it in my voice of the things that I choose to talk about. But if we want to continue that path, we need to have people training under me and so forth and so on. All these other scholars that are walking the earth today. You know what I'm saying? So that we can look at what happened yesterday and prepare for tomorrow, that we'll never have another yesterday like that. You know what I'm saying? Because we see the tools, we see they're just doing the same things over and over and over again to us, So now, just like when we're talking about this water shortage and all this stuff, this drought and all this the weather things, I already know what's going on, and I tell my people what's happening and be prepared for it. Be ready, watch out what's happening. And they're looking like, wow, that's great information. So we are prepared. But if you go to the school systems, they ain't teaching none of that. They ain't talking about that. If you go to church, 2,000 people in the room, and Pastor Truth, he is definitely not talking about that.
Right.
So we have to pay attention to those. Quit listening to the people who just want to entertain us versus educate us. We got to recognize the people who are the educators. It's like people say, TJ, you don't have no Facebook followers. You don't have enough Instagram followers. You ain't got but 2 or 3 people following you on your YouTube page. I didn't think you was that smart. And I'm like, that don't mean I ain't smart though.
Right.
Dr. Saban didn't have no social media until I put him on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, come on now. We have to pay attention to how we're being set up for failure. It's like having a college degree is old technology. That's old information. Now it's about, oh, you don't have a college degree. Okay, I don't want to listen to you. Now it's like, oh, you don't have any followers on your IG. I don't want to listen to you. It's like we walking away from one and walking into another pit.
Right.
We have to pay attention to that. But yeah, we have to start looking at our scholars, just like you. You over there, you've had a record label or something. You producing all these amazing things you said you've done. Podcasts, you're doing it. I've never done these things. So guess who I get the call when I need help trying to do mine, hypothetically speaking? I'm going with the person that I know that's doing it and living the life. Versus, oh, somebody wrote a book about it. Where's he at now? Oh, I don't know, but here's the book. Well, I know a guy that's doing it right now in real time. I'm going to call him because I'm sure something just came out that will greatly affect things since that book has been written. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk to somebody in real time because I know a law passed every January. New stuff passed. So I'm going to call you, brother. And that's how we're supposed to look at it. I'm the one that traveled and did 25 states researching real estate, researching ownership, researching entrepreneurship, finding out what's holding these people back in these different cities around the country and from being wealthy. What's holding these people back in Africa from being wealthy? You know what I'm saying? I did all that research. So, I think that people would want to learn from me, under me, because I've done the work. You know what I'm saying? If somebody come and say, like I said, I've done 25 states, in a couple countries, whatever. If someone say I've done 50 states in a few countries, then I'm going to pull out my notepad and set to the side and listen to what that brother got to say. Because I ain't crazy. I understand how this stuff works. The person with the most knowledge should always lead. Period. Not the person with the degree, not the pastor, not the bishop. You know what I'm saying? The person with the most knowledge, the person should lead that has the most knowledge that can help the people. And I ain't talking about book knowledge. I'm talking about real world knowledge.
Yeah, application.
You know something that we can go applied knowledge, something that we can go, do this right now today. I remember back in the days, they said other people would burn down African Americans' houses and we would all come back together and rebuild them. Can we do that today?
Yeah, you already know.
We're gonna have a bunch of people with degrees show up. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, no, that's too much work. Where's the Hispanic community at? They ain't dealing with us no more. We have to do it ourselves. So we have to. That's why I know a little bit about everything. They said, well, you're a jack of all trades, a master of none. I said, no, after 30 years, I became a master of all. See what I'm saying? I got 30 plus years in this thing, man. I ain't new to this stuff. Building a brick wall, building a car, building the house, you know what I'm saying? Laying the sidewalk. I got a little experience in all of that, you know? So we should all be able to have that. I feel like if you can go sit in school for 4 years and learn whatever it is, that one thing you learn about, you can learn a whole lot of stuff in 4 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time. I feel like I remember hearing about Israel. They say Israel has mandatory 2 years in the military before they can do anything else. So everybody in Israel knows how to shoot a gun, knows combat training. And I feel that's the same way with African Americans. We should all have some type of military training. We should all have some entrepreneurship training. We should all have training in manufacturing. You know what I'm saying? So we know how to do anything and we will never have a problem making money, period. You know, because I have all types of knowledge and understanding and trades and things like that. That's pivot. People like, how did, because I
Lost you for a sec. You there? I see you back now.
Okay.
I see you back now. There we go. Okay. I get it. I definitely want to, while I still have you, because we have talked and it's been great. I want to get back to the main point of this book that you have out. I want you to talk about the impact of this book. Please describe the impact of the book. I want you to talk about it at length. Make people come out to see and read and get this book, purchase the book from you. Get, like you said, glean the, all of the bells and the jewels and whistles and so forth and so on that you are offering people.
So in that book, I wrote about things that are how they're forcing people to lose their houses, how they're taking people's houses. So when I go out and do my book signings, or I'm speaking, or I'm in public, I have people approaching me going crazy saying, you saved my life, or you saved my house, you saved my business because I read in your book and you talked about things that people were doing. And then all of a sudden it happened to me, but I knew what to do because of what you wrote in your book. So I want to thank you. Can I treat you to lunch? Can I blah, blah, blah? I'll be like, whoa. Then I have people be mad. Like, I wish I would have got your book earlier. You know, I wish I would have heard you speak 2 years ago when they took my daddy's land from us. And I didn't know all I had to do was this, like you wrote about in chapter 15 or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So the impact has been horrendous, man. When I'm speaking or we talking about the book, I've literally had people get up and run out of the meeting. And I'll be like, ooh, like, wow, I hope I didn't say nothing wrong to piss them off. And then later on after the meeting, they come back and they said, man, my house was in escrow. My house was just about to be sold. And when you made that statement and said that Google had moved into the neighborhood, I did not know that. I didn't know that because Google was there. My real estate was going to go skyrocket. My price, my values. So I had to run out and call my agent and cancel it and ask him, did he know that Google was moving in? And he said, I may have heard about that, but that don't affect anything. You should just take the money and sell it, and it's like, so you did hear Google. That is true, and then it's just been, I mean, man, there's things that people talk to me about. And I'll be like, look, I mean, I had some lady push me to the side and stood right in my face yesterday and said, I want you to buy my house. I said something to her that blew her mind. Like, she's like, I'm having a problem selling my house. And I was like, look, this is all you got to do. So that book, man, it has brought people to me that they be like, I need to talk to you. I'll be like, wow. Because there's not a lot of people that with that level of knowledge. You got to look at it like this. Most people who do real estate, and we always put them in front, and they aren't concerned about selling your property, profit. So the book about problem solving. This is how the gentrifiers, this is why they don't want black real estate agents because of this. This is why they don't want black loan officers because of that. This is why they don't want blacks building houses from the ground up because of this. So I talk about all of that, and it just blows people's minds because these are conversations that most people have never had. You know, you're like, wow, I'm 70 years. Somebody said I'm 70 years old and I've never had a conversation like this before. So I know you know what you're talking about because I've never at all. You know, it really was interesting the other day. One of my friends, she has, you know, she's a big business person and she's surrounded by billionaire land developers. You know, she know $1 billion land developers. She know $1 billion car guys, brand new cars, you know, Ford dealerships or whatever. And she's surrounded by wealthy people, but she says, I have conversations that they can't have, that they don't have. So she asked them questions about me. Well, I was talking to my friend and he said this happened and that happened. And then they said, really? You know what I'm saying? Like, can I speak to him? You know, like I'd like to hire him. And she was really impressed. Like just because you're a multi-billionaire don't mean that you're the smartest person on the planet. That has nothing to do with wealth. Money can be handed down. People get lucky and come up with I might find this pen. They say, man, that pen is the first and rarest pen on the planet. It's worth $5 billion. And I sell it now. Everybody think I'm the smartest guy in the world because I got $5 billion. You know what I'm saying? But it all boils down to is that ain't how I acquired my wealth. They ain't acquired the wealth. They sold the pen. They had nothing to do with it. Now it's just right place at the right time. You know what I'm saying? IP is no joke. Intellectual property is no joke. But it blew her mind to find out. I said, people like me, billionaires will hire. Wealthy people will hire me so I can become their advisor. You see what I'm saying? Wealthy people are wealthy because of people like me who've went out and done the homework. Wealthy people will sponsor people like me to go out and do the homework, do the research, to come back and tell them where the money is. And that's why I wrote the book. And people see that book. It's like a business card for me. People say, this brother's sharp. I need to have him come back. And just like Dr. Sabi, when he realized the level of knowledge that I have, he said, I need you to work with me. I want you to be like President Obama has his cabinet.
Yeah.
I want you to create my cabinet and you're going to be my leader of my cabinet, meaning I'm his most trusted advisor.
Right.
So, and follow wise counsel. I always tell people you need to find wise counsel. So I was Dr. Sabi's wise counsel, younger than him, only because I've done the research. I know what questions to ask, and now I've traveled and I've done the research. So that's what's in the book, and that's the things that I talk about. So I want people to realize these are the wealth building topics. These are the pathways to success. So I put them in the book so that we won't have a lot of the problems that we have now. And then most importantly, you're going to be like, wow, I need to get this dude to come speak at school. I need to put this radio platform and interview him, know who he is. Glorious. We got the bar way down here. You're talking about, the bar is up high. Like, nah, I'll step right over the bar because y'all got it too low. You know what I'm saying? Let me raise the bar up with all of this conversation. And then they be like, we've never talked about that. So you're absolutely right. That does make sense. That the bar was too low.
You heard it come from one of the GOATs, man. I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this has been an amazing experience. Both episodes, the second episode, more so in particular for me because it gets straight to the brass tacks. I'm a brass tacks kind of guy. You know what I mean? And I just love IP wealth. I love information. I'm like a megalomaniac when it comes to just information. And it goes back to my days at HBCUs. The day that I touched ground at Hampton University, the first day, there's a statue right in the middle of Hampton University's grounds of Booker T. Washington. It got him pointing off into the wilderness, and on it says, "Education itself is useless. How you use the education is what gives it its power." And from that point on, it changed my life. And so I love education. I love, it's not about, like you said, it's not about, those who appear to have logic or those who, they're wealthy or so forth and so on. That does not give you power over me. It does not make you smarter than me at all, and I appreciate people of color, especially brothers who I feel is an endangered species. That's just me. Brothers that have, that part. That have the intellect the education, and the grit to be able to give it back and to show it and do it in the faces of all of these naysayers and, you know what I mean, enemies of the state. You know what I mean? And I just love this. I really do. I wish there was some other form of ways to encapsulate it and redistribute it. I'm sure between yourself and myself, we can come up with some other things. We'll get to that later on.
Absolutely.
I want to ask 2 more questions because we are at an hour, and I try to keep it and be respectful to the viewers as well as your time, because again, your time is money. But when we did the run a show, you called attention to this one question, so I'm going to ask you: how do you feel that you've paved the way for young talent?
I paved the way for young talent by creating a wheel to where they won't have to create that wheel. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't have to be trying to create a wheel if I've already done it. So when people come to me, because I learned where the money is. I found out where the money is, and I told people, and I said, here goes the black print right here. Just follow this print and you will be, don't flip houses, new cars, buy cars from the auction and fix them up and sell them, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, I've created the black print for others to follow. So have you ever seen that meme on social media where they got a picture of the pack of wolves cutting through the snow, and you got that one wolf in the front that's cutting through the snow, guiding the whole pack, and everybody else is following that one wolf? Well, I will be that one wolf in the front. So you ask me, what have I done for the pack? I paved the way. I've made things a lot easier for everybody else to where they don't have to go through the hoops and hurdles. So if you talk to the wolf in the front, his paws is hurting. He didn't hit some rocks. He didn't hit some spikes and some cuts. He got cuts and bruises. But if you look in the back, everybody else in the back, like, well, what's taking so long? You know? Oh, and other people like, oh, it's nice out today. You see look at the sunshine. You know? Like, they don't understand the work that I put in, that wolf in the front. You know what I'm saying? I'm banged up and bruised. Somebody asked me, they said, man, what happened to all used to have? I don't have it no more. I lost it because I was trying. Man, stepped on the nail. Even the way I got some flat. I had to get some stuff. So now, Crips and Mexicans, they like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, really to get us here. Funerals we went to, you know what I'm saying? And it's like that. People who else got the knowledge. He needs to be on the stage. He needs to speak. He needs some books written for him. Help him. He ain't gonna do it. You just get it and take the knowledge, listen to him talk, record him, and put the knowledge in the book, because he ain't even that kind of guy. I help people get the knowledge out.
I love it, brother. I truly do. I am in awe of your education, your persistence for the culture, and I love the fact that you're fearless in carrying the torch for the culture. You know what I mean? Like, people don't understand how difficult, like, what is it, Macbeth, where it's like heavy is the head that wears the crown. Like, bro, like, your crown is glorious, and it's just obvious. So I totally understand it and respect it, and I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, brother. But just like what you said, that said at the Booker T statue, the knowledge is no good without using it, right? Well, my knowledge is no good if nobody else gets to hear it. So I need your help. You see what I'm saying? My knowledge is no good without platforms like yours to help the knowledge to be spread to the masses. You feel me?
Right.
Because I only know who I know. You see what I'm saying? There's too many more people that I don't know, that we don't know, that need to know me. So, like, we touching your college background. Hopefully I hadn't offended too many people to where they'll say, okay, you know, he's right. We need to get this brother on the stage and get these books from this brother. You know, pick up his books by the dozens, by the bulk, and give them to the schools, But knowledge is no good if nobody's distributing it. It's helping to magnify it. If you don't endorse me, I'm not gonna have as many people as I should. You see what I'm saying? If you don't go back to your school and say, hey, we've been kind of wrong, we need to bring in some other people too. Matter of fact, let's bring this brother in. So it takes a village to get this thing done. You feel me?
I agree. Totally understood. And it's appreciative. Like I said, I mean, we'll circle back to that because I definitely agree with you, and I agree with you wholeheartedly for sure. And I have it on great authority that we gonna get some work done. Seriously. But without further ado, we are at end of time. I definitely want to ask the last question, which is I always say it's the most important question. How can people learn more about you? This is your opportunity to share how people can get in contact with you to learn more, to get that experience and that wealth of knowledge that you have. How can they reach out to you?
Well, my information, my website is TJ Loftin, LOFTIN.com, tjloftin.com. All my social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Thomas TJ Loftin, LFTIN. I do training class. I have a training class coming up on September 24th and another one October 22nd. These are 1 day, 10 to 7 p.m. of hard. Bring your tablets, bring and paper. We got a lot to talk about, family, and we're going to cover it done. I'm going to create leaders out of it. It'll be some real leadership training right there. Call you walk out of that class, you're going to teach your own class now. Go take this, go to everybody else. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how they get counseling. Phone number, out and speak. 954. Again, 310-619-3954.
Say the number one more time, so in case because you were choppy up a little bit.
310-619-3954. If you're interested in booking me, or you'd like to have me come out and speak, or you like to take one of my training classes, or you just simply need a consultation.
You need to make sure y'all reach out. Trying to tell you, this brother right here is golden right there. I wish I could have a golden goose that lays gold eggs, and I found him as TJ Loftin. You know what I mean? He's the most golden goose of all the gooses that's golden. You hear me? So, but look, TJ, it's been a pleasure. Any last words that you have for anybody that's out there listening, watching, so forth and so on? It's just an obvious splendor.
Ownership is everything. It's up to those who can to help those who can't. Ownership is everything. It's up to those who can to help those who can't. What does that look like? We need to start buying commercial real estate for those Black businesses that are renting that will one day be put out. We need to bring all our Black-owned commercial Black-owned businesses back home into Black real estate. We need to, same thing with residential ownership. We need to buy land so that we can build Black cities. So when they keep closing this door, we will just all go back home to community to where we came from.
I appreciate you for sharing. I definitely do. I want to end this episode a little bit different. We actually have footage of you talking and sharing information. 2-minute video. We're going to end with that. But I do want to say, listen, I sincerely appreciate you and your time on this show and on this platform. I am positive that if you're willing, you will be back on this show. There's plenty of opportunities for us to help to spread your sermons and your word in your word with the world. Like, plenty of opportunities. It's my job to find it now. So once I find it, we're going to invite you back, and we're going to make sure you get back to keep spreading the word, because we need that. 1,000%.
Absolutely.
I got to say, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that I'm going to put this up one more time. Make sure that you like, subscribe, follow TJ Loftin on all social media and on the World Wide Web. All of the links are here at the bottom. He's on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. He's got his website, tjloftin.com. He's everywhere you want to be like Visa. Just make sure you do. If you don't know, Google this man. You'll find the information that you need to find. Hey, it's funny because I tell people to Google me all the time. I'm telling you, Google works. So apply yourself. If you want to progress, you want to make yourself better, then go out and seek the education that you need. This brother right here on this side, this brother right here is a person, he's a curator of excellent knowledge for our culture and our people. Make sure you look out and find them. I'm Donnie B, Got the Beats. We live on the beat, and we about to go out with TJ Loftin speaking. We out.
Family, I see a lot of things that we're doing. We're making some big mistakes that are greatly affecting all of us. How many of y'all familiar with we got a lot of people buying large parcels of land, building black communities? Any of y'all? Okay, no offense to anybody, but I'm a seasoned, y'all say it with me, seasoned real estate investor. When I first came to Georgia in 2015, I checked out all the real estate prices. How much is some land? $500 an acre. How much is the houses? $15,000 a piece. Now all of a sudden I start seeing my family, my friends, people that look like me, doing the right thing. What is the right thing, family? We're deciding that America's getting a little too uncut, so it's time for us to start building our own homes. It's time for us to start building black communities, right? Ain't y'all with that? Well, I'm with that too, family. I support that. That's the way we should be going. But before we do anything, we got to do it right. Does that make sense? Because when you do something wrong, it makes it bad for the rest of us. When I looked up and I started seeing press releases coming out saying black folks just bought a black parcel of land, 5,000 acres, they're about to build a black city, come on down. I was like, oh shit. Does that make sense, family? That's about to be a problem. So I watched the cost of real estate per acre go from $500 to $15,000 per acre. People that don't look like us getting excited, like, oh, they want to buy this land that's worthless? We're going to jack the prices up on them. Does that make sense, family? So we got to learn how, what they say. Y'all repeat after me. The revolution shall not be social medialized. How you going to go on social media telling the world what we doing? We got to stop that. When it comes down to real estate, family, do not put your transactions on social media, because there's enough people in the world that can just come in there and write one check and buy everything. Y'all hear what I said? Everything. Say it with me. Everything.